Hey everyone, welcome to this video. So in this video, what I want to essentially go over is the difference between sales ads and traffic ads. I get this question all the time, so I just want to clear up any confusion that people have in terms of the difference, and so you can know how to essentially best use them, and when you can essentially use them in different situations because they are both valuable in essentially their own campaign aspect. But it's very important to make sure that you don't use, say, traffic ads when you want to use sales ads or vice versa. And so this is essentially going to be going over the difference between them and how you can best use them. So getting into it, when it comes to running traffic ads, it's important to understand that the cost per click metric is purely just going to aim to get you the lowest amount of the lowest cost per click. So it's just aiming to maximize the most amount of clicks you can possibly get with traffic ads. That means that if your ad is essentially something that is very clickbaity, it's going to get a lot of clicks, but that's not going to necessarily translate into sales. And we're going to get into that in just a sec. So it's important to remember that low clicks does not equal more sales. So when you're running KU ads or any traffic ads to KU or possibly to your actual book on Amazon, we don't want to look at the cost per click in terms of if something needs to be turned on or turned off, or essentially the budget needs to be adjusted, because it's really just telling us how many clicks that ad is getting. More clicks is better, yes, but it doesn't necessarily determine if a traffic ad is profitable or not, because in the end, I mean, how much you're spending on ads versus how much you're making back is really all that matters. It doesn't really matter what your cost per click is as long as the ad is profitable. So as we're going through this, it's just important to remember that cost per click, like looking at a cost per click and seeing that it's a very low cost per click, does not mean that it's a good ad, just means that it's got a low cost per click. And so essentially with traffic ads, what this means is that there's a positive experience and a negative experience with some of these ads. So some ads will give a better positive experience and they're going to get a lower cost per click, but they don't give enough context or pre-sell someone enough before they actually buy. So if you think about maybe it's an image, maybe it's a contemporary book and you have like a shirtless guy as the image. You could get a lot of clicks on that, but it may not be going to your actual reader base. It's just going to people that want to click on that type of image. And so what you actually want to go ahead and do is really pre-sell that buyer by having different aspects that actually demonstrate that or show that it's an actual book. So even though an ad looks good and has a lower cost per click, it could be still wasting money, and that's not what we want. It could be providing a positive user experience and getting a low cost per click, but it's still not profitable. And then again, vice versa, some ads will not give as much of a positive experience, not necessarily a negative experience, but maybe not as much of a positive experience, because they sell the customer more, like having free and Kindle Unlimited on your actual traffic ad. It's going to sell the customer a little bit more because it's going to feel a little bit more like an ad, which you're going to have a higher cost per click with, but it sells them more, so it's a profitable ad. That's where you can have a higher cost per click on ads that pre-sell people, but they're much more profitable than the ones with a lower cost per click that don't pre-sell people. So what it really comes down to is keeping a balance. And so what I mean by that is we want to create an ad that gives as much context as possible while still promoting the book in the most fun way possible, while still also having all the aspects that signify that it's either going to KU or it's going to somewhere else on Amazon. You just want to preemptively tell the reader what's going to happen after they click. And if you can have an ad that's providing a positive experience and it gives that preemptive selling, that's when you're going to get the lowest cost per click and the most results possible. So now I have gone ahead and actually put together a program for this. If you would like that, it's down in the comments. It's free. And essentially, it's going to walk you through how you can run the most profitable traffic ads possible. But I would really only do this in the case where if you maybe have a new release, or if you're in a genre where KU ads are currently working. I know after talking to a lot of authors throughout the week, some genres, they're just not working as well. And that's where obviously we're going to jump into the actual sales ad side of things. So if you want that program, it's going to be down below. Just leave a comment and you can ask for it. Now, jumping into how sales ads actually work. So it's important to remember that with sales ads, they are a completely different ballgame. Like complete sales ads and traffic ads are completely different. And if you're ever running an ad to a website or somewhere that you can leverage the Facebook pixel, and you actually have a Facebook pixel on your site, and we're going to get into how that all works as well. If you ever have a place where you can have a Facebook pixel and things are tracked on the back end, again, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. You'll always want to run sales ads and not traffic ads. And the reason for that is because sales ads are utilizing the Facebook pixel constantly 24/7 on your website. It's literally like having someone on your website that's like watching everyone coming to your website and seeing what they're doing and then tallying up who is buying the most products and then like using that data to then find more customers. That's essentially what it's doing. And so what the Facebook pixel does track on your site is what people are doing on your website. And again, like I was saying, it assigns different values based on what people do on your website. So say if someone stays on your website for longer than others, they are seen as a more valuable potential customer. They still haven't bought yet, but they're a more valuable potential customer. And they're going to target that type of person more than any other person that they're just randomly seeing for the first time. Now, someone buys a $10 product on your site, they're going to see that person as even more valuable than someone added to cart because they actually took the time to take out their credit card and actually buy. Now, say someone buys $200 worth of every single book that you possibly have, Facebook sees that person as the most valuable person that they could possibly target. And the pixel is using all of this data. It's tracking all of this data for you, and it's able to match the user profile, so their Facebook or their Instagram profile, with whoever is making a purchase. So say this person that made a purchase, they know that that person made the purchase. They know that they bought everything. They know that they bought $200 worth of your book. So it's a very valuable customer. And they're going to be able to match that person and know how much they spent. And then they're going to aim to find more and more people like your most valuable customers and less of people that just don't buy from you. Say someone goes to your site 4 times and then just leaves. Facebook is not going to be targeting them like what they're targeting the other people. That's typically why Facebook is not going to put nearly as much emphasis on targeting the people that are leaving as the people that are taking action. It's going to try to find more and more people like them. That's why the longer that you run sales ads, the more accurate they get because you're essentially continuously finding more and more customers. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you just run an ad and you just let it run, you don't touch it at all, it's just going to get more and more and more and more profitable. Obviously, we got to make better ads. I'm going to get to that in another video going over how Facebook ad budgets work. But overall, they will be able to find more customers every single time you get a purchase because it is more data. Now, for this example, it's very important to remember, and I was just talking about this the other day, is that if you say, for example, that you have a product you can sell to a mass market that anyone can buy, say, for example, like laundry detergent, anyone can buy it. There's no restrictions on who can buy it. It really, like, everyone uses it. And so it's something that your ad can essentially reach anyone. So in the grand scheme of things, in terms of the entire auction of Facebook, if you're selling a product that everyone can buy, you're automatically going to be able to have a further ability to be able to scale. Now, how do you scale? Well, you need amazing ads, you need a great product page, and you need a great offer. And once you have that, there's nothing stopping you from scaling your ads from $50 per day up to $1,000 per day, literally the next day. Like, if your ads are strong enough because you have the Facebook pixel that's tracking all that data, it's finding all these customers, as long as your ads are strong enough, your product page is strong enough, and your offer is strong enough, there's literally nothing stopping you from scaling from $50 up to $1,000 per day. You just need to have the market. Now, it's important to think in terms of the overall equation. Maybe you're more niche down and you're in like a very niche market in terms of the books that you're selling. At that point, it makes much more sense to keep your budget around like that $100 to $200 range, and you could just find those customers at a more profitable point. But maybe say you're in contemporary and you're selling billionaire romance, we can scale it up to $1,000 to $2,000 per day pretty easily because there's just that market there. And all it really takes in terms of being able to scale from 50 to 1,000 is great ads, great product page, and a great offer. And I'm going to be getting more into that in the how Facebook ad budgets work in the next video. But I'm going to be explaining more in terms of how you can actually scale up to that point and what you want to look at in terms of, because you need a great ad, great product page, great offer. What do you look at in terms of if your results are not there? Do you look at the ads? Do you look at the product page, or do you look at the offer? So I'll be going through that a lot more. But I just want to give this example in terms of how sales ads work. They're using the data on the back end to essentially find you more and more customers, find the more valuable customers. But of course, since we are selling books, it is slightly niche down. Of course, in the entire equation, if you're doing, like I was saying, with if you're selling billionaire, you do have a bigger market. If you're more niche down, you could just keep your budget a little bit lower. But it just means that we have to scale slower and find more readers. So overall, in terms of sales ads versus traffic ads, again, if you're ever running it to a website, you never ever want to run traffic ads because it's going to give your pixel bad data, especially if you have a pixel on the site and then you run a traffic ad to the pixel. I would never recommend doing that. But they can be useful in terms of course, sending to KU or sending to Amazon. It's just very important to make sure that you're preemptively selling your customer before they click, so you get a lot more purchases on the back end. And then, of course, in terms of sales ads, I will be getting a lot more into these. This is really just a general overview. But yeah, we'll be getting a lot more into how you can actually scale from 50 to 1,000 to $2,000 per day with sales ads, because it is possible. All it really takes is the actual ad. Like Facebook knows exactly who your reader is going to be. They see so much pixel data because they can see everyone's pixel. They know what everyone's doing on every single website. So they know already who's going to buy your product when you're running sales ads. They just essentially need the strongest ads from you to be able to actually put these ads in front of people to actually sell them. So that's what we'll be getting into the next video. So if you have any questions about this, or if you'd like anything explained further, I would be happy to do so. Just go ahead and leave the questions down in the comments. I'm planning to make a lot more of these types of videos just to put out as much information out there. And if you have any topics that are confusing you right now, please let me know, and I'd love to make some more videos about them. So yeah, take care, everyone, and let's sell a bunch more books.